as it relates to the budget, let's start with some good things. Given that, we face I guess depending on who you ask, anywhere between a $7 and $12 billion deficit this session. Understanding that you can't always get what you want, and some tough decisions did have to be made. And some of the tough decisions that had to be made in this budget are some that I agree with. Of course, there's things like delaying some entitlements and delaying, ECAP and other early learning programs and childcare. I know that many people, both sides of the aisle, want to see, improved early learning and childcare and transition to kindergarten and so many other different things. So I understand that there was some tough decisions involved, but at the same time, we've increased spending by 8% this biennium. And that kind of indicates to me that the decisions actually weren't that hard. And what I have a problem with this budget is sometimes it confuses me. I think there's a little bit of a lack of vision. Sometimes we're doing things that I vehemently oppose, like robbing single mothers on TANF from child support payments and robbing the age, blind, and deaf of recoveries. The people who our state should take care of, they absolutely need us the most. And not funding our priorities, not getting from 51 to even 50 per capita police, only putting $25 million instead of $100 million that was kind of promised by many earlier in the session. So those are some of the disappointments, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions to come about some of those things. But I think the biggest disappointment of all is that it's been constantly told to me that if we don't raise progressive revenues, then people will die. People will suffer as a result, but then we balance the budget on the backs of the poorest people in our state and then raised a bunch of progressive revenues, but wait a second, we didn't just raise progressive revenues, we raised a property tax, which is a regressive tax. And in order to get funding for police in your community, you had to raise another regressive tax, a sales tax. And these are things that the budget assumes to spend what would be going from a $72 billion to a nearly a $78 billion budget. And I ask myself who wins in this session. And it seems like bureaucrats and politicians get paid more. And it seems like people who have committed crimes also win in this budget. But single moms on TANF lose. Age, blind, and deaf lose. And that's a hard pill for me to swallow, especially facing taxes that I view as purely unconstitutional, like an unrealized capital gains tax, literally taxing people on profits they haven't even gained yet. A property tax on assets that's unconstitutional because we have a uniformity clause in our Constitution, and that's not a uniform tax. A 50% increase to the B&O tax for our largest employers. I'm concerned that they're going to pack their bags and leave, and with it, all the family wage jobs they provide in our state, and the great benefits in healthcare and dental and vision, maybe even dental therapy, who knows. But at the end of the day, nothing is more devastating than this property tax. This is a tax on people on fixed incomes who have, who have retired, and this is what they've budgeted for. And at the same time, we have pensioners who were once school teachers who were in their 80s. We did nothing for them in this budget, not even a one-time bump. And that's a disappointment to me. When I think of an elderly 80-year-old teacher in TERS 1 who isn't getting an adjustment for their cost of living increase, and now they face in this budget a property tax increase that will far outweigh the COLA they would have got from us anyway. And then we add that on top of, a host of other things, including what I view as reckless spending. And I think that a lot of things in this budget were rushed. We talked about the RHCs. I'm very concerned that people will die as a result of that. I'm very concerned about closing down our prisons. We're rushing into some of these cuts without really measuring twice and cutting once and really thinking it through. And I know that we only have 105 days to do it. But some of these things, I think, had my side of the aisle, had my party been in the room, we might not have gotten the budget that we wanted. But at least we could have been there to give advice about our districts of 3 million people that we represent in our communities across the state of Washington. I think that when you couple things like this property tax with things like rent control, it's going to be devastating for housing supply we may never recover. And there's a lot of policies and taxes that this budget bill assumes, and it does so, and it creates another 8% increase to taxes. And then in the second biennium, even more it assumes. But we didn't learn any of the lessons that got us here in the first place. We're literally continuing the same things that got us here. And I am going to make a prediction to you that if we pass a budget like this, we will be back here again having these same tough decisions again in no time. And that's something that the people of the state of Washington do not want. As polled recently multiple times, 2/3 of Washingtonians want no new taxes. They want to curb the reckless spending. They want government efficiency. They want Washington state to live within its means. And they want the extreme cost of living in this state to go down. We are one of the most unaffordable states in the entire country for gas, groceries, rent, housing, insurance. And even with the PEB and SEB cap, their private payers insurance could go up $1,400 a year. And what? So public sector employees like us can get better health care outcomes? Once again, who is winning here? I don't know if a lot of people are going to feel good about this. I know some people, even you, Mr. Chair, maybe don't feel good about everything about this, and I understand that. But I feel like had we been together in this, I might not have gotten a budget I could vote for. I might not have gotten a budget I liked. But I think that some better decisions could have been made, and we're better when we work together. And so I'm going to urge a no vote today.